Hello. Well, that worked out well, didn't it? When I gave you guys a heads up, oh shoot, I meant to shut these windows so you can't see the traffic, which is nonstop. All right. So, hello and welcome to the news that didn't make the news. Hello, Renee. Hello, David. And hello, Annette. Long time no see. So, I just went on Facebook and did a Facebook Live with some tarot to kind of let people know that I was jumping over here with what I feel like is some very pertinent information that we need right now. And I wouldn't be Tina Hammond if I didn't have to mess with my camera now, would I? All right. Let's see. How's that? Okay. So here we go. Right. So I want to talk about some stuff that's been coming through to me for the last 7 or 8 days. Initially, I wasn't sure how to approach this subject because there was a lot of clamor and a lot of yammer going around on social media about October 4th, and a lot of people, including my neighbors, apartment number 4, was mentioning to me that this is there's a lot of kind of fear and whatnot going on around this date right now. Now, if you haven't watched the September 23rd date news that didn't make the news, there was a lot of information that's really, really pertinent in that video, even though we're past September 23rd, because there were a million different scenarios about September 23rd that obviously did not happen. Now, our next fear date that we have going on is October 4th. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about what's really happening, what's really coming. I want to talk about being inside versus being outside for these solar events. I want to talk about where the energy of the whole planet is, where the energy of the first wave is right now, and what the heck is going on with the sun. Okay. Kathy, what a surprise. Didn't I just see you? So enough for you are here. I'm going to begin. And hopefully I don't need any water because I didn't bring any water in here with me. Okay, so October 4th, or as I called it on here, ROCTOBER 4th, right? I have been seeing for the last 7 or 8 days that there's some kind of EMP. An EMP is an electromagnetic pulse, okay? And an EMP can come from the sun. It can come from weaponry. It can come from 5G energy. It can come from all kinds of things. Anything that generates an electromagnetic pulse can generate an electromagnetic pulse. Now, when people start coming to me and hearing things or telling me things they're seeing on TikTok or other social media platforms, I do not go to the social media platforms and look that up. I do what I always do and pull in my information. So the important thing about the September 23rd video was everything that they were saying was just what they were hoping that humanity would create by witnessing all these videos and short messages, blurbs that they were sending out all over social media platforms of scare tactics, because they wanted to send a certain energy and a certain message to humanity so that our brain takes a picture of it, sends it to the hive, and therefore creates it. Okay. This date also has that in common. This October 4th date has that same edge to it as well, but there's even more to it than that. Okay, so let's roll this beautiful bean footage. So organic EMP. So as I said, EMPs can come from, weather weaponry, military stuff, cell towers, all of it. What I was getting, though, for 6 days straight before I even, did tarot cards, did any dowsing, asked my intuition, my higher self any questions, I kept getting over and over again every single day, there's going to be an EMP. I was seeing it everywhere. And when I saw the words EMP every single time, it had the word organic next to it. Okay. So you can rule out all the other things, which I'm saying can generate an electromagnetic pulse. Because as we know, anything that's electromagnetic can send out an electromagnetic pulse. Now, the gist of what I'm getting from apartment number 4 is that they're so, well, her take on it was that they're talking about what's on the website for FEMA and what's on the website for FEMA and the FCC. Okay, so they're talking about this coordinated United States October 4th 30-minute frequency broadcast that's going to come television, radios, all through all smart technology. So I guess it's coming through your oven if you've got a smart technology oven or washer and dryer as well. So what the FCC and FEMA are saying is we're simply running a 30-minute test of the emergency broadcasting so that in the fact of an actual event, people will be prepared, etc., for the information that then comes through. Okay, so that's what FEMA and the FCC are saying. The general test just from apartment number 4 was that they're talking about running some sort of frequency. Now, she's not actually the only one that has mentioned this to me, but they're going to be running some sort of frequency that is very, very disturbing at a cellular level through all of our devices. Okay. And so a couple of the things that apartment number 4 and other people have told me is that they're saying we should turn our cell phones off. There was even a person suggesting that we power down our house. Okay. So like turn the fuse box off, I guess, so to speak. Literally, I guess, though. So anyway, electromagnetic pulse, this is going to be organic. Now, remember, I was asking about October 4th when I got this information. So an organic EMP, and I kept seeing over and over again the symbol of the grasshopper. And I had to look it up. And you guys, I've looked up, because of my dreams and my visions, I've looked up hundreds and hundreds of things. So a lot of things I have memorized, symbolism I have memorized. That way, when I'm seeing things or getting messages, I'm decoding in real time, because I spend a lot of time decoding on paper. And for the majority of the time, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm decoding in real time. However, I kept seeing this grasshopper, right? And I've never looked up what grasshopper meant. And I was shocked because this was the message that came right after organic EMP was the grasshopper. And I looked up the grasshopper. It says they recognize and can assimilate to hundreds of thousands of frequencies. Okay. So we are going to have an electromagnetic pulse, and whatever it is, it's coming from the sun. Now, I'm not saying that it originates. Now I'm hearing it in my ears. I'm not saying it originates from the sun, but it will be coming to us. It will be traveling through or delivered through to us from the sun. Okay. So what this is about is a collapse of mind control. Okay. So where to go with this? Somehow they are aware. When I say they, I don't mean FEMA and the FCC. I'm talking way above the food chain from that. Somehow they are aware that this is coming. Now, what doesn't really make sense to me, because this is kind of something I've been looking at recently through a man called Jason Brashears, who has a show called Jason Brashears. What is his show called? Archaics is the name of his channel. He interviewed somebody that talked about events. And he said, whenever there's any event, you can look at the epicenter of that event. Okay. So for example, Let's say your only significant soulmate relationship. I'm just going to use this as an example. You can take their birthday and your birthday and then find the date in between that. That's an epicenter. And what you do with that epicenter is you can say, okay, there's 470 days between my birthday and my soulmate's birthday. Okay. So you go back in on the calendar, 470 days, and look at the significant thing that happened 470 days ago. Now, I'm explaining to tell you this. I've done this before. So I looked at my birthday versus someone else's birthday, looked at the epicenter. I think it was 470 days was the epicenter between our births. I looked back 470 days, which put me at September 9th, 2021, and I didn't even have to look at my journal. I knew exactly what it was. So when you're looking at an epicenter, which is a timeline, the timeline between two things, whether that's, like a 9/11 event, you can look at the past, you can look at the future, you can do that in your relationships. I looked at relationship. I'm giving you that because it's an easy example. So when I found the epicenter between our two births, I looked back what happened 470 days prior to meeting, prior to our epicenter. And then I calculated 470 days from my epicenter, and that anniversary of that date is 2 days from now. So expect some. I expect some very wildly positive manifestations in the next couple days. Now, the reason I'm explaining this to you is since they don't have looking glass technology, they can say, okay, this kind of EMP happened on this date, and here we are on this date. They'll find the epicenter and then say October 4th through 8th, for example, would tell them that something else is going to happen on this date, like an EMP. I'm using that, for an example. Hopefully, this is making sense. So the reason you want to find an epicenter to something is so that you can look and see what the future is predicting. Now, my only problem with them coming up with this date of October 4th is when you look at an epicenter like 9/11, or even, my relationship with a soulmate, whatever epicenter you want to find, when you, in my case, go back 470 days, it happened on that date. When you go into the future, it gives me the date of September 28th. Okay. But that does not mean a very exact date. Okay. What that means is sometime in that time frame, and when you're going ricocheting out from your epicenter. So for us, it was 470 days. Even though that's September 28th, that doesn't mean it couldn't happen tonight. It doesn't mean it couldn't happen October 1st, because when you're projecting forward or backwards from an epicenter, it's usually not exactly on a date. It's probably because they messed with our calendar so much, but it gives you, let's say, a week. Okay. So if they were giving all this fear mongering within a week's span of time, that would make sense, but they're not. They're specifically saying October 4th, which means I know something is really going to happen on October 4th, just like something really happened on September 23rd. It's just that it wasn't what they said it was. They're trying to get us to create something that they wish us to create. Hopefully, the epicenter thing made sense. The reason why I'm telling you this is, how can they specifically say October 4th for any kind of thing? So again, the FCC and FEMA are saying it's going to be a 30-minute emergency frequency broadcast on the 4th. Now, what's all over social media is a bunch of fear mongering about the use of cell towers and how everybody should hide out, bunker down, turn off their cell phones, and basically shut their house down, shut the fuse box off. Okay. And I'm not telling you that that's a bad idea, but it's for a different reason. Now I'm going to tell you what I saw. The first thing is, when I'm looking at epicenters, like I said, in my own personal relationship, and then I'm looking at the epicenter, they would have not picked a October 4th date, for example, okay, uh, they would have picked a couple of days later or something like that. When I asked why they would have picked October 4th, if they are actually looking at other EMPs or other electromagnetic happenings from the sun or from the planet, um, how would they know October 4th? And then I got a picture in my head of them viewing it. So, whatever is going on, and you guys know I'm not even great at science, obviously. I'm probably like at eighth grade science, if that. Okay. I'm telling you that straight up. In quantum physics, I know that they could see something out there in space, even if it's just energetic, and they could say approximately at the speed of light, how long would it take this thing to get here? Okay, that's the first thing I want you to know. They know there is something energetically happening, and I'm 99.9% sure that they know because they have made contact with it and they are looking directly at it, is what I want you to know. So, then what's going on? The reason why I said I don't totally disagree with powering down the cell phone and even possibly switching off the extra juice in your house, so to speak, um, is because there's a big difference in being outside versus being inside. So there is something heading to this planet. Now, I'm not sure, again, even if with quantum physics and the speed of light, they are calculating how long it's going to take it logistically to get here. That itself doesn't mean they're right either, because again, it's energy. So I'm seeing the fourth, between the fourth, fifth, and sixth, for this energetic wave to hit here. Now, if you've seen the September 23rd video, this will make a little bit more sense, because I was telling you what they were saying was going to happen, the reason they were saying it's going to happen, and how they wanted you to create what they wanted you to create that was going to happen. And again, we have a little bit of that thrown into the bag as well here. But here's the biggest thing. They are not going to run a frequency through your cell phone, through your television, through your smart washer and dryer that is going to kill you or give you brain damage or anything else that they might be saying. Because again, I'm not sure what they're saying. That is not, it is not possible for them to do that. Okay. I mean, scientifically, in some aspects, it's possible, but let's just leave it at the fact that it's not possible for them to do that right now. Okay. So then what are they doing? Well, what they're doing is they are using cell towers to negate the incoming powerful frequency soup. Okay. So sometime between October 4th, 5th, and 6th, there is we can call it an angelic frequency. You can call it a high frequency. Um, the reason Archangel Raphael was always seen with a trumpet was because he was sounding the alarm, so to speak. And on that card in tarot, it has the red cross. And if you know, as long as you are in right action, doesn't mean we can't make mistakes. We all make mistakes. When you are in right action and you are assimilating to this frequency and these downloads and these DNA upgrades, you are protected. Okay, so Archangel Raphael was always shown with the symbol of the horn, because that meant he's making an announcement of a frequency change. And when we have a frequency change, then our body invites us to also change. Now, whether you decide to do that or not is up to you. What they're trying to do now, what I have seen is they're saying it's going to be a 30-minute broadcast. I'm seeing that okay, so we know the cell towers are already on, right? It's not like they're doing anything unusual. What I'm seeing is it may be running at a lower voltage. And let's remember that I'm at an 8th grade science level. I'm just trying to explain what I see. The cell towers are currently running at a lower voltage than they can go. Okay, so let's say they're being ran at a 3 or a 3.5 right now. Okay, but let's say they have the capacity to be run at an 8 for frequency. What they plan on doing for, I don't know if they're even seeing that it's 3 days. 1, 2, 3 days, they plan on turning those cell towers up to the highest frequency it can go, not so it can shock you or kill you or do anything crazy to your house or to your brain or anything like that. What they're trying to do is override this mixed angelic frequency soup that is coming through to this planet starting October 4th. And it's coming in like I keep seeing it October 4th, 5th, and 6th. It looks like it's really amping up between 5, 6. So cell towers are being used to negate, not to kill you, not to cause house fires. Well, I don't know what all they're saying, but the cell towers are being used to negate the incoming powerful frequency shift that is coming to this planet. Basically, they're turning the cell towers up to override this multi-dimensional, multi-aspected, multi-faceted, high angelic frequency that is coming to the earth, because they know, the downloads, the DNA upgrades, all of that. They're very aware of that. They're hoping to use the cell towers turned up to override the frequency, this new frequency, and the data that this new frequency brings to the human body, which means that you and I are going to share that frequency by walking in the store, sharing it with our neighbors, getting on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, and sharing that information. Okay. So cell towers are being used to negate, turning up the frequency to negate, to override the powerful angelic high frequency that's coming in. Okay, what they're trying to stop is expanded consciousness. There's nothing new here. They've been doing it since the days of fluoride, and probably even before that. Okay, so the current energy of the entire collective consciousness of the planet versus the collective consciousness of the first wave, that would be the people watching this video. Now, when I say that, doesn't mean that other people won't feel the frequency that the first wave is feeling or be subjected to it in a minute way, because they will. And it doesn't mean that we will not feel or be privy to the energy of the other waves as well. Everybody's going to feel everything, but the first wave is prominently going to feel one thing and recognize the other thing. And the second and third wave are primarily going to feel the one energy and possibly be aware that that other energy is out there. And that may come through in some very simple ways to them. So the collective energy of the entire planet, the second and first wave, is a very, very rogue energy. Okay. Was it Quiet Riot that did that song? We're not gonna take it. No, we're not gonna take it. Okay, so the second and third wave, the energy that's already here right now is rogue. Okay, and I'm not saying rogue in a bad way. There may be 1 or 2 people that go rogue in a bad way. Okay, if you know that guy that lives across the street from you and he's a little bit rogue anyway, you might want to keep your eye on him. Okay, but this rogue energy for the consciousness of humanity, for the collective consciousness, second and third wave, is a rogue energy. Okay, and that is humanity is unwilling to conform. Humanity is unwilling to comply. Humanity is breaking free and pulling away from the herd mentality. Okay, so that's the energy. It's here now, but it's really going to amp up through October, really, really strong. Unwilling to conform, unwilling to comply, breaking free and pulling away from the herd mentality, which is huge for us. Okay. So that's kind of self-explanatory. Unwilling to conform, that may be, you know, anything, anything. Medically, and this is one of the reasons they're doing it, they're trying to bring up something else. I talked about the Marburg in a couple of videos ago. If you haven't seen that, I was made aware of that information on August 2nd, and I sent it to Shannon Cohen. And then on August 3rd, they ran a Marburg simulation in New York City the day after I sent that to her. So if you have not seen that video, go back to that. The main energy on the planet for the majority of consciousnesses. I'm not doing it. I'm not taking it. I'm not doing this to shake this job and shove it or whatever it is. I'm unwilling to conform. I'm unwilling to comply. And I am breaking free and stepping back from herd mentality. Okay. So that's their energy. The first wave. And this is interesting because I pulled a couple of cards on Facebook before I came over here. And it was kind of the same people that were there, that are always there, that I pulled cards for. So I pulled cards for the people that showed up that I hadn't seen on my live for cards before. Okay. So this very thing came up for Renee Roberts. So, and I believe that might be Renee Johnson here. A lot of you have different names from one platform to another. Okay, so the second and third wave, collective consciousness, we're not going to take it. I'm unwilling to conform. I'm unwilling to comply, and this goes hand in hand with why they want to do this frequency. Okay, obviously they want us to conform and comply, and they don't want us to break away from herd mentality. Okay, that's the majority of the planet. Now, here's where the first wave is. We've got two different energies, and I think you guys are all well aware that we all have masculine and feminine energy within us. Our job has been over the last several years is to balance our masculine and feminine. So we're using our intuition to take action. That being said, I was born as a feminine, so I'm going to have more feminine energy no matter how balanced I am. I'm a feminine. Same goes for the masculine. On the first wave, here's what's going on. The masculine energy, which does not have to be in a feminine body, okay, because energy is genderless. Okay, I know plenty of couples where the feminine is the divine masculine, the masculine energy is the divine feminine. Whoever is the masculine energy in your family, in your relationship dynamics, in your friendship dynamics, the masculine energy right now, and for the next up until just like December 21st ish, we'll say. I like to always add an ish with my dates. Masculine energy is making changes in physical reality that align with the higher knowledge by intuition. Okay. So the masculine has been taught through the hierarchy and through the system that we do and push and create and make money and take care of people and, all this masculine stuff. Okay. So the masculine energy on the first wave, and most of the first wave is between 55 and 65. Okay. But the first wave, there are some 40-year-olds thrown in that bag. Okay. And there are some 80-year-olds as well. So take those numbers with a little bit of grain of salt. The masculine energy in the dynamic is right now the experience that this energy frequency wave that's coming through the sun, this is I hate to call it agenda, but I don't know, whatever. Okay, energetic push, agendic energetic push for the divine masculine is to say, I've known intuitively that I should do this, this, and this for a couple weeks, a couple months, a couple years, some of you maybe decades. The masculine energy has been receiving things intuitively that they should be taking action on for days, for weeks, for months, some of you years, that now you're going to be pushed to take that action and use. Okay, and I'm not saying this is not a less than situation. The masculine is just as psychic as the feminine, but the masculine is a little bit behind in taking what the intuition has given them and putting that into physical reality. Okay, so the psychic masculine sitting around saying, I know I need to change this job or this relationship or my geographical location or, my family dynamics. Maybe it's for time to just cut your mom off, whatever it is. The masculine energy is making changes. This energy is pushing the masculine energy to make the changes in physical reality that they've been intuiting, some of them for years. Okay, so big changes. And they're making these changes based on the intuitive hits that they're now receiving, that they've been receiving for months, years, however long it is. Okay. Now, this is critically important for you to know because we have a massive balance, right? We're in Libra season. How appropriate. The scales of balance are, we have the masculine on this side that is finally, with the assistance of this energy, going to have the strength to push through the things they've been receiving intuitively and make them happen in physical reality. On the other end of that spectrum, me and the rest of you beautiful divine feminine, we've been in this place. I'm seeing this person change. I'm seeing this relationship change. I'm seeing peace in the world. I'm seeing the collective consciousness change. I'm seeing the food change. Whatever your particular gift is, because we don't all hang out in the same realms all the time, even if we're in the same dimension. Thanks for the rap music. It's not even Friday night. It's like Friday night out there. So masculine making changes. Okay. Masculine acting on intuition. This is a push for the masculine to act on the intuition that they've been getting and haven't acted on so far. The divine feminine, you have been seeing, hearing, having visions, whatever, of your relationship changing, the world changing, whatever it is. Okay. And all this energy hitting the masculine at the same time, you're feeling this rock. Like, how much longer? How much longer till the financial system, the logic, the math, the quantum physics is over here on the masculine side. Okay. So for you, you may be seeing, how much longer in quantum physics do I wait for this happening? Okay. You could be saying, how much longer in my relationship dynamic am I waiting? So as the masculine is being pushed to take action on intuition, the female is almost at the point that the divine feminine has been doing this so long, she is feeling like giving up. That's the energy in the first wave. Do not do it. We are in Libra season, okay? And just as this energy pushes the masculine to act on intuition, we need to not lose our intuition. Okay, so the divine feminine has been acting on intuition the entire time. Okay, majority. So the question is, do I believe myself, right? As I've said in many videos, how much longer, Papa Smurf? How much further, Papa Smurf, right? The masculine scales, Libra scales of balance are saying, masculine, act on your intuition. Feminine, know that you've been seeing this happening in reality for a really long time. Don't give up on it now when it's coming, okay? Because if we drop out, then we lose the assistance that we're providing for the divine masculine. And I hope that makes sense. That's the best way I can explain it. The masculine has got to make these choices, not what's best for me or what's best for the banking system or whatever. They've got to make, which is what's best for me in the banking system and the weather manipulation and everything else. But the masculine has got to use the intuitive hits they've been receiving for forever to start creating physical reality. And divine feminine, you cannot give up on all of these things that you've seen in visions or heard from your guides or higher self or done through tarot readers or whatever. You cannot give up on that. Okay. So we have a literal bifurcation process. Okay. Maybe some of the divine feminine, like me, I've been seeing great world changes. I started having visions of it when I was 12. So it's real easy for me to say, okay, and I got to tell you, when I started since I started seeing things at 12, by 2018, I'm like, wow, this is awesome. I guess none of this control, manipulation, mind control, illnesses, I guess it's not going to happen. I was like, so freaking happy. I've been seeing it since 12, so 24, 34, 44. Over 30 years, I've been seeing it. 2018, I'm like, wow, all those things I saw, those negative things I saw starting at 12 years old, they're not ever going to happen. It's never going to happen. And same with the good things as well. Divine feminine. We are extremely intuitive. That's why we work with the divine masculine. All right. You find the perfect counterpart, the perfect balance to your little equation so that we can shift the planetary energy, heal ourselves, heal the planet, and change this to the situation, which is expanded consciousness and freedom for this planet and all sentient life. Okay. I'm just saying this is going to be such a strong push for the divine masculine to finally act, people, places, and things, make changes in physical reality based on intuition. Divine feminine has been running most of their lives on intuition. Okay. And there's a big group of people that are saying, well, I've waited for this person or this relationship or this job or this change in the banking system or whatever forever, forever, forever. And it's never going to happen. Don't give up right now. Hold that energy where you've been holding that energy, because as the divine masculine is right there saying, oh my gosh, I've been getting this intuitive hit about this or this. I'm finally going to act on it. Do we have to hold the scale? The masculine and feminine scales have to be held through each other. Okay. Now, the reason this is happening is because you and I, divine masculine, divine feminine, are reading the energy of the cosmos, of our sector of the universe, some people out to the omniverse, through osmosis, meaning I can walk outside and get messages from trees or crickets last week, or coming EMPs. Okay, so we are reading cosmic energy through osmosis, and we are tapping into what is about to happen, the energy, because what happens is you feel the higher frequency of that energy before it trickles down, so to speak, into the third dimension. Divine feminine, please do not give up on whatever it is that you, whether it's a relationship, a house, whatever it is that you have been getting visions and messages and guided information, whatever, your higher self, any way that you're receiving information as a first waiver, you've been seeing it for so long that there may be a temptation to say, I just shouldn't give this any more energy. The thing is, you get so many messages and so many downloads, and this cosmic energy is pushing you in this direction, saying, yes, it's coming. Yes, it's coming. Yes, it's coming. Yes, it's coming. It's like the pizza guy standing on the steps. Like, it's a perfect equation, because my neighbor and I were talking about pizza, and then we walked into the hall, and I was like, I smell pizza. And she's like, no, we're going to order it, but it's not here yet. And I'm like, no, literally, I smell pizza. Someone has pizza. So we're talking about pizza. The neighbor must have just walked in with the pizza because we smelled it. So same thing is going on for you, everybody on the first wave. There's something you've been seeing or hearing or feeling or getting downloads about, or messages from your guides or higher self or angels or whoever the source of, and most of you, it's all of that. We're getting this big angelic soup mix of information from different places, different frequencies, different channels, seeing this, happy outcomes, beautiful outcomes, and all kinds of things that are just not here yet. And what I'm saying is the divine masculine is just now being pushed into acting on intuition. Okay. I kept seeing the number 42 over and over and over. And I'm like, why am I seeing 42? 4 is the emperor. That's, I have a plan. I have action. I'm going to be very controlled. People can say whatever they want, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. That's number 4. Stability. I have a plan. I'm going to take action. Number 2 is all about your intuition. It's the high priestess. I'm connected to the other side. And I'm like, oh, holy crap. The divine masculine is connecting in this energy to acting on intuition. 4-2, acting on intuition. Okay. So Do not let all this stuff that's going around scare you. One of the other things is they are actually just texting the emergency broadcast system for future notifications that will be coming through about the things that are happening that I was just talking about. Obviously, they're not going to give you emergency notification for your divine masculine or divine feminine showing up at your door, but I think you know what I mean. Okay, so they are actually running this, but there are more parts and pieces to that. The other thing I want to talk about very briefly, how long have I been on here? Oh, I'm doing great, only 40 minutes. Let me pat myself on my back. I think the neighbor's ordering dinner, but I'm pretty sure she's watching. If you haven't already ordered dinner, please do so. So the last thing I want to talk about is the sun. Last December, sometime around December 18th, I want to say it was, in that ballpark, that week of December 18th, I was taking a walk and I saw some crazy electromagnetic happenings, sparking, all kinds of colors on the sun. And I came home, and you guys know I make a lot of videos without makeup when I feel like something's important. So I came home from my 8-mile walk. I put a hat on and I made a video, and I told you we're going to have a massive X-class solar flare. And I'm guessing by what I saw remotely on the sun that we have about 48 hours. Okay. So that literally happened within 48 hours. Now, I'm not saying that to brag about my remote viewing, okay? The reason why I'm telling you that is I want to tell you how you can remote view the sun, okay? Now, you can remote view the sun in the bed in the dark if you want to. But if you want to see what's happening on the sun, I started doing this in, I think, 2012 or 13. Okay, so it doesn't work with sunglasses. In fact, you should never, ever wear sunglasses unless you absolutely have to. When the sun hits your pupils, it tells your entire body that you are in the sun, and your skin will adjust so that you don't get sunburnt and have heat rashes and all kinds of other things. Okay, so I started remote viewing, and what I would do is just sit on the ground or stand, depending on how well I could see the sun, close my eyelids, close my eyelids, and then just look at the sun, and I could see what was happening on the sun with my eyelids closed. Now, the reason that I'm telling you that is I saw all that, X-class solar flare stuff going on, came back here, put a hat on, made a video. It happened in 48 hours. Ever since that time, and I think that's been like over 9 months now. Ever since that time, I have not been able to remote view the sun. And I'm like, well, this is really weird, because I have remote viewed the sun, in meditation in the dark as well. But it's hyper conducive to looking directly at the sun with your eyelids closed. You'll be amazed, and you got to kind of chill there and relax and kind of let that flow through to you. So the next day, whatever week that was in December, after I saw all that, the next day I couldn't see the sun anymore. And the next day I couldn't see the sun. And the next week I couldn't see the sun. I couldn't see the sun in January. I couldn't see the sun in February. I couldn't see the sun in March. I was not able to remote view the sun after the third week in December of last year. And I'm like, how is this possible, right? Surely they can't mess with me to the point where I've lost my ability to remote view. I know that is not the truth. This is just an ability I don't use that often. But for 9 months, I could not remote view the sun, okay? And the reason why I'm telling you this, something massive has changed, you guys. And I know there's a lot of rhetoric about it's not really our sun, it's a computer simulation, whatever, all of that. I don't know. That's not a trail rabbit hole I ever went down, and I probably never will. However, I was not able to remote view the sun for 9 months. Now, yesterday when I was coming back, on the 23rd, when I was coming home from my walk, I closed my eyes on the hill and stared directly at the sun and was able to see it for the first time in 9 months. So Was it a different sun? Were they shielding it? Because I did see at many points over the last couple years that there were times where they put a shield over the sun, and they were even siphoning energy from the sun into some sort of container and taking it out to space. I've been seeing them do that, I think, since about 2018, I want to say. So that's a really big deal that I can now see and remote view the sun. Now, they can't use mind control or any kind of weapon to cause my eyes to change. So that means that whatever's been going on with the sun, whether it's them covering it up, whether we had whatever the scenario was, it's not me that's back online, you guys. It's the sun that's back online. So when I say remote viewing with my eyes closed, I should probably say this. So when I close my eyes, okay, and let myself adjust for a few minutes, I will then see the sun, the energy, which way it's sparking, where the current solar flares are, that kind of stuff. Okay, that's what I've always been able to do ever since I started doing it. Now, for the last 9 months, this is how I've always done it. So I'll look at the sun for a couple seconds, and then I'll close my eyes and see what's going on the sun. For the last 9 months, I've looked at the sun for a couple seconds, closed my eyes, and the sun disappears when I close my eyes. Okay. So the sun literally disappears when I close my eyes. I cannot remote view it. And, I did initially think, this is I've been doing sun gazing since like 2012. So I thought, is it my eyes? What the heck's going on? Okay. So it was very, very strange after doing that for, I guess it's been 10 or 11 years. I've been remote viewing the sun through my eyelids and being able to see solar flares and all kinds of stuff. Tell me if other people can do this. Kathy's saying she can see it with their eyes closed. Yeah, Libra girl, there's a lot of people that are, you can say, oh, well, I'm a woman, but I have more masculine energy than feminine. And it's very normal. It depends, on what we decided to do, because if we were a divine feminine, like intuitive person for many lifetimes, we may want to experience the opposite kind of thing. So this is what happens when I look at comments. I know better. So in the last 9 months, looking directly at the sun, seeing it, but as soon as I closed my eyes, it was gone. And I'm like, how is it possible that the sun is gone? I don't know. But I'm telling you, I have tried every day that the sun is out since last December and not been able to see the sun until September 23rd. So if you haven't seen the September 23rd video I made, because I didn't think about this until now, go back and watch this September. And I'm trying to get better about titling things for that. I'm not going to stay on here any longer. And for some reason, I'm starting to absolutely burn up. Probably solar flares or something, guys. I don't know if you saw my video a couple years ago, but the masculine and feminine combined energy are causing solar flares. The sun cycle definitely has something to do with it, but masculine and feminine energy, even if you're not in the physical same place, you could be thinking about someone at the same time they're thinking about you. That is a very combustive, positive energy that is creating solar flares. Okay. But the sun is now viewable, remote viewable with your eyelids closed for the first time in 9 months. And that's huge. Okay. So again, the importance of this October 4th date is they are using the cell towers to override or negate the incoming powerful frequency soup that is showing up here on this planet. Okay. And yeah, so as far as like switching off your phones and all of that stuff that maybe you have heard on social media, that's really not necessary. Okay. However, I want to tell you something. we have an organic grid on this planet, and we have a man-made grid that runs our electric. If we are standing outside, when a solar flare comes, you're going to feel blissed out, like maybe you smoke some weed. Okay. If you are inside, you're still going to get that energy, but you're getting it through dirty electricity from your stove, your hair dryer, refrigerator, and your cell phone. Okay. I always recommend to everybody on a daily basis to put your cell phone on speaker. I always do this. People might get annoyed with me, but I put my cell phone on speaker mode, and I keep it 2 or 3 feet away from me as long as that person can hear me. So as far as powering everything off, that's not really necessary. However, if this is going to be the biggest electromagnetic pulse sometime between October 4th and 6th that we've ever seen, if you are inside and around a bunch of smart technology, even like refrigerators, stoves, everything puts an ampage out because it's connected to the grid. Okay, so it's going to be pulling up dirty electricity. So this EMP, this high frequency soup of vibrations that's coming in, is going to come in inside or out. But inside your house with your cell phone in your hand, standing next to smart technology, you're getting a very dirty, dumbed down version of it. Again, you're still getting it. I would advise people, you can do whatever you feel is necessary. This is a very healing, angelic frequency. If you are in a point, I don't live in a house, I live in an apartment building, but I know where the main fuse box is. I'm not going to shut everybody off on October, but I think I might shut the power off, the main power off in this apartment for a couple of days, and then like turn it back on if I need it, because my hot water heater and the washer and dryer and stuff in the basement are on a separate fuse. Again, I'm not saying that you do this for scare tactic reasons or fear porn reasons, or that any monster is going to come out through your technology. You want the frequency, this frequency wave, this vibration that's coming in, you want it in the organic, unadulterated version of that, okay? Not mixed with dirty electricity from the grid coming up through your appliances, okay? So dirty electricity comes up through your house, through your apartment, your trailer, your van by the ocean, whatever you're living in. That dirty electricity is coming up, you know, into your home, okay, wherever you are. So the less of that you have turned on, the better. I suggest just being outside if you can during peak solar hours. And I'm going to tell you, I would, if at all possible, you can be outside between like 12 and 4. I would definitely do that. Now, as far as your cell phones and your tablets and laptops and things like that, the thing I can say about that is I feel like they haven't done this little experiment before that they're doing. So the thing I would say about your technology is if you don't need it, I would absolutely turn it off. And again, I'm not saying because they're going to send you any like crazy, you know, messages or some kind of electric shock or anything. I'm saying it because of the dirty electricity. Now, with the cell phones and the tablets and things like that, the reason why I'm telling you that is that's coming from the 5G tower. If they're turning the 5G towers up as far as they can get them for October 4th, 5th, and 6th to try to override this angelic frequency, your phone and your tablet and your laptop are going to be supercharged. Okay, so I don't know if you do work on those things. We do what we can. Again, not a fear tactic. It's just how much of that frequency, that angelic frequency that is DNA activating, third eye activating, and all this other stuff, how much of that do you want to drown out with your hair dryer, your tablet, and your smart technology? So I would say that's the biggest thing about October 4th, 5th, and 6th is not drowning out or overriding this angelic frequency, because that's what they are trying to do. That is how powerful this is, okay? So um, do as you wish, do what you will. But I would suggest taking a break. And the best thing to do is, if you're in a warmer climate and you can be in water while this is happening, that is stellar. Okay. I also say that's a really good day to take a bath or take a shower or swim if you're in an area where you can swim, because being in water, even a shower, removes electromagnetic energy and electromagnetic static from your body. I'm so proud of myself for doing this under an hour. Okay. The last thing I want to say is things have been a bit challenging over here. Okay. And I want to give a very, very big shout out to Linda Sue, who is not here right now. Linda Sue, Nikki Ponting, and oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm not remembering her name right now. 3 people that have donated to me in the last 48 hours. I'm so sorry that I cannot remember that third person's name, okay? Because this video, I wasn't even going to be able to make this video. I was about to get my phone and my Wi-Fi turned off. So thank you, Nikki Ponting. Thank you, Linda Sue. And thank you for the other person. I'm so sorry that I cannot remember your name. There's been an incredibly lot going on here in this building. And please send your love, your light, and your healing frequency to Jessie in apartment number 4, who is having, we'll say, leave it at this, a bit of a challenge. If you would send your light, your frequency, whatever healing energy you can to the top part of her body, that would be really, really awesome. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. And until next time, can't wait to read your comments tomorrow. Bye, guys.